Whether you're planning to migrate to Australia, you're already here on a temporary visa, or you're just curious about how migration policies are evolving, this is the video you don't want to miss. An Australian visa quota is essentially the number of visas Australia allocates for different categories of immigrants each year. In this video, we're diving into the truth about Australia's visa quota in 2025. These quotas are determined by the government and are influenced by a mix of factors, economic needs and demographic challenges. In Australia, this means everything from skilled migration to family reunion visas to humanitarian and refugee visas. Now, why does it matter? Well, the visa quota essentially determines how many people will get the chance to build a new life in Australia in a given year. For individuals and families, it's the difference between getting a shot at the Australian dream and being stuck in a long, uncertain waiting game. For Australia as a nation, it's about shaping the future workforce, addressing population aging, and fueling economic growth. The 2025 visa quota, what's changing? For 2025, the Australian government has announced some major changes to its visa program. First up, the total visa allocation is set to increase, but not across the board. The skilled migration category is getting a bigger slice of the pie, while some other categories, like family and humanitarian visas, are seeing either minimal growth or even cuts in some cases. Australia is focused on rebuilding its economy, and skilled migrants are seen as the key to filling critical labour shortages in sectors. In fact, there's a massive push for regional migration to ensure that areas outside of major cities like Sydney and Melbourne get the workers they desperately need. On the flip side, family visas, particularly for parents, are facing tighter restrictions. The government argues that these visas place a heavier burden on public services like healthcare and social welfare. And while there's always a humanitarian allocation, it's clear that the focus has shifted to economic migration. How many visas are we talking about? Alright, let's talk numbers. For 2025, the total planned migration intake is set at around 185,000 visas, and out of this, nearly 71% is allocated to skilled migration, which is about 132,200 visas. Within this category, the biggest winners are the employer-sponsored visas and the Global Talent Visa program. Both of these are designed to attract highly skilled professionals who can contribute immediately to Australia's economy. The family stream, meanwhile, is expected to account for about 52,500 visas, with the majority going to partner visas. However, parent visas are seeing a cap that's causing some frustration among families hoping to reunite with loved ones. And then there's the humanitarian program, which is set at around 13,000 visas. While this number might seem significant, it's actually lower than what many advocacy groups were hoping for, especially given the global refugee crisis. The impact on skilled migration applicants. Now, if you're planning to apply under the skilled migration category, 2025 might just be your year, but it's not without challenges. The competition is fierce, and the government is raising the bar in terms of qualifications, English proficiency, and work experience. One big change is the emphasis on regional migration, and states like South Australia, Tasmania, and Western Australia are rolling out incentives to attract skilled workers. Think extra points on the points test, faster processing times, and even financial grants, so if you're flexible about where you want to live, this could be a golden opportunity. The Global Talent Visa program is another game changer. This program targets individuals who are leaders in their fields like tech innovators, medical researchers, and creative professionals. If you've got exceptional skills and a proven track record, this could be your fast track to permanent residency. What about international students? If you're an international student, you're probably wondering how all of this affects you. The good news is that Australia is still keen to attract international students, not just for the revenue they bring, but also because they're seen as an ideal pipeline for skilled migration. In fact, there are new post-study work rights that allow graduates in high-demand fields to stay in Australia longer and gain valuable work experience. However, there's a catch, as the government is tightening the rules around fraudulent education providers and low-quality courses. So, if you're planning to study in Australia, make sure you choose a reputable institution and a course that aligns with Australia's priority sectors. Challenges and controversies. Of course, not everyone is happy with the 2025 visa quota. Advocacy groups argue that the focus on skilled migration comes at the expense of family reunion and humanitarian needs. There's also criticism that the system favors the wealthy and highly educated, leaving little room for those who might need a helping hand to build a better future. Another point of contention is the processing times, as even with increased quotas, the Department of Home Affairs is struggling with a massive backlog of applications. This means that even if you meet all the criteria, you could still face long delays before getting your visa. And then there's the question of integration. And while skilled migrants bring economic benefits, there's a growing concern about how well they're being supported to integrate into Australian society. Issues like housing affordability, access to healthcare, and even social cohesion are all part of the broader conversation. Tips for navigating the 2025 visa landscape. So, what can you do to improve your chances in this highly competitive environment? Here are some practical tips. 1. Do your research. Understand which visa category suits your qualifications and goals. Check the priority occupation lists and state-specific requirements. 2. Work on your skills. If you're applying for skilled migration, focus on areas that are in high demand. Consider upskilling or gaining additional certifications if needed. 3. Boost your points. Whether it's improving your English test scores, gaining more work experience, or studying in regional Australia, every point counts. 4. Seek professional advice. Immigration laws are complex and ever-changing. A registered migration agent can help you navigate the system and avoid costly mistakes. 5. Be patient and persistent. The process can be long and challenging, but persistence pays off. Stay updated on policy changes and be ready to adapt your plans if needed. What does this mean for Australia? So what's the bigger picture here? Australia's 2025 visa quota reflects the country's shifting priorities in a post-pandemic world. It's about balancing economic recovery with social cohesion, addressing labor shortages while managing population growth, and navigating the complex realities of global migration. For aspiring migrants, it's a reminder that the pathway to Australia is becoming more competitive and more selective. But it's also a sign that opportunities are there for those who are willing to put in the effort and align their goals with Australia's needs. And for Australia as a nation, it's a chance to shape its future, to build a diverse, skilled, and vibrant society that's ready to tackle the challenges of the 21st century. Alright, that's a wrap on today's deep dive into Australia's 2025 visa quota. We hope this video has given you some clarity and maybe even a bit of inspiration. If you found this helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit. What are your thoughts on Australia's migration policies? Are you planning to apply for a visa in 2025, or do you have questions about the process? Drop them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and take care.